We acknowledge you. Let me greet the Chief Whip, Councillor Zungu, and all leaders of political parties. Yeah. I just want to note a few comments that were raised by councillors here. One, it is important to acknowledge that we do comply in submitting the reports to Treasury, and we are required to comply and submit by the 10th working day. So we have done that. The Act says we must submit to the mayor, in fact, not to council. We submit to council as an over and above process, and it is out of historical practice, and it is not as a result of any legal requirement. So it is important to note as we respond. And of course, the submissions to the mayoral on those reports is what we have usually considered as submissions to the mayor. However, Speaker, it is important to note that the submission to the mayor or the mayoral could not be possible. The previous MMC of Finance was not signing reports to be submitted. So it is an important thing to note, but we don't want to be going back to that. We want to move forward. But we want people to acknowledge that there were weaknesses, and as such, they were not signing reports, and that is why it is also for the last 14 months, it was not being finalized. Now, we are working on ensuring that this tender is finalized to ensure that there are no issues. And I think we should also appreciate that this administration, its first task when it came into office was to put the next level, which is appointment of the group CFO, which we have advertised, will soon be shortlisting into that there is stability in the administration. So that process is in place, which could not happen for the longest of time since others decided to do what they did in the last term on the appointment of the city manager. It is important, Acting Speaker, to note that we have an effective war room as we speak now. A war room that is driving the revenue turnaround strategy. And we believe that over a couple of the next months, we should be able to say our revenue collection has stabilized and we have reached our targets. But it also needs to be noted that for the last 14 months, there was no focus on collection, and hence we find ourselves here. But council should appreciate that this administration has focusing purely on collection. Now, we should also note that indeed we had a situation with the system which we had to shut it down for 14 days. And as I said yesterday, this...
I was just indicating that you've got 30 seconds remaining.
Oh, okay. So I'm talking too much. Speaker, let's note all the...
Thank you, MMC. Councillors, the report is for noting. Do we note the report? Thank you.
We are on grade of informal settlements.
Councillor Lesilo.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Revolutionary greetings to the caucus leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Petlele Wagaras Rute, to our Chief Whip, Thabisa Mogapi, and the 29th Battalion of the July Movement. I would like to quote you, Lali Queen. It is in your spirit, or it is nowhere, I close quote. The EFF funding manifest is City of Johannesburg upgrading of informal settlement. As for now in Johannesburg, old informal settlement are at 181 and the new ones are 150. Then the overall is 312. The informal settlement, which is the informal settlement in Region A, as we speak, it's been included in the ISUPG business plan, which were including among the 53 informal.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I hope some of my colleagues have the same coffee that that side of the House has. Speaker, let me firstly, through you, congratulate former MMC Mabaso. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Give Johannesburg the power to actually deal with informal settlements, but they refused. And we're glad that today this report has come through because of your hard work. So congratulations, former MMC Mabaso. So I'll speak a bit slower today. When I think you can do it for somewhere else. Speaker, yesterday when I spoke, there was a bit of confusion. But today, at least there's direction. So when MMC Lishi is going to get of programs ready for her for the next 10 years, because clearly just getting this is the first step, which is what we need. And I'm glad that one of them is the Slovo informal settlement, which is between wards 68 and ward 69 and ward 58. They've been waiting for the last 20 to 25 years, forgotten. Finally, in the last term, the infrastructure was put in. So when we go back now, we can clearly say it's on the map again. Because no matter how much you fight for them, their dignity was taken away for the last 20 years. And now we can start the process to gain their dignity back, along with all the other informal settlements that are on the list. But Speaker, as I said, this is the first step. What the city needs to realize that for the last 3 years, province has not given us money for housing. And that is an indictment on the province, an indictment of the government that is there. Without that funding, the city had to beg and borrow in order to ensure that people have dignity. Because a home is something you can hand down to your children. I clearly do not respect the value of properties. Speaker, the next step is, do we actually get the funds from national or province? They need to realize that. I'm glad that MMC Morero is there now, finance. He can speak to his colleagues and say, it's ANC to ANC. Maybe this time you will give us money. Because when other parts out, there are pillars today. Because let me explain, one of the pillars of the DA that was there from its things that we will be pushing in the committee is that in-situ upgrades need to be pushed as well. Let us put the infrastructure, because at the moment, the people in Ashanti Road are crying because the informal settlement that is there had to tap into our system, which then makes the sewage come out.
Councillor Christians, there's a hand. Can you kindly take your seat?
Sure.
Councillor at the back, are you rising on a point of order? Oh, Councillor Machete, please proceed.
To Christine. Christine, when are you going to pay our money? 800,000, the one that you took.
Machete, please take your seat. That is not a point of order, that's a question. Point of order, that is a question. Order, please, can we keep the order? I do not take point of orders on a point of orders. Please put down your hand. Councillor Christians, please proceed.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank
Speaker,
you.
clearly there are your instructions, Speaker. Speaker, the people in Ashanti Road, they get up every day to sewage spillage because we were not able to put in the infrastructure over the last 20 years. The houses that are bonded and the houses that are being provided by government actually can come together in unity and not fight amongst themselves, because that is what is happening. But the sad part is not only for those who are in the bonded houses. Think about the children that from that informal settlement who daily have to walk through that sewage. We forget about them. And Former MMC Mabaso. Speaker, Councillor Genevieve Sherman will continue the fight because she's not afraid to go into that informal settlement, yet some people may say that the DA is afraid to go into formal settlement. No, we're there every day. We walk with them, we live with them, and we know what their plight is. And that is why today when we see this report, we can say, this is a victory for South Africa, and we are all South Africans. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Christians. Thank you. MMC Leach.
The Chief Whip and Caucus of the Patriotic Alliance, all my fellow councillors and the audience in the gallery. All protocols observed.
MMC, can I kindly ask you to take your seat as there's a hand?
Sure.
The councillor here, yes, please proceed. Are you rising?
Thanks, Speaker. I'm just being surprised.
Fortunately, you were not too far. And also, thank you for raising it in time, Councillor Dlamini. You may proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. In relation to this item, I would like to greet Speaker, greet Mayor, greet Mayoral Committee, and not for the first time. And through you, Speaker, what we are requesting to the department, staff must be increased. There is a lack of staff, and the work that is supposed to be done, it's a lot. We request MMC to consider that. We request field workers to be employed. MMC, through your assistant, please work with ward councillors. I'm talking from the experience who has actually been given thumbs up. And therefore, through all the informal settlement that we are talking about, please consider that the people with the implementation, and if we fast track the implementation, that will assist us to see changes during this term. Lastly, in all the work that is supposed to be done, can we have time failing to assist the resident of the city of Joburg? Take, for example, if you work with ward councillors, they will assist you to indicate whether the implementation of upgrading, it is proper to be an in-suit or relocation, because there are IDP of informal settlement where it is a question. With those few words, I think being an MMC of this department, we are assisting you to actually do the work. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Dlamini.
To have it passed and tabled here today. Thank you. Moving at Council to seek approval for the upgrading of 181 informal settlements that were recognized by the city before 2016. The Department of Human Settlements is expected to submit plans to proclaim the settlements into townships, but cannot. Therefore, the approval will assist in processing the application to convert as outlined in this report. Hereby, I request for Council to approve this report. As part of our Operation Restore, we will show you what we do.
Councillors, the recommendations are on page 104.18. Is the item agreed to? Thank you. There is a microphone that is on. Can we kindly switch it off? Oh, thank you.
We are now on item 105, which is formalization of regional councillors forum and adoption of new terms of reference.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. I think this particular document is of significant importance. Now, having been a ward councillor for 2 terms, nothing gets done. And I think the guidelines in this document will assist us a great deal. But also with regards to PR councillors.
So very well. That's why I like the multi-party government, because we've got the same vision. All councillors representing the marginalized African society, particularly Johannesburg City. I just want to add, because the most particular one was highlighted. This forum, in order to be able to function properly, we also need to consider looking at the deputy chairperson, because we only need them to be considered if we want everything to work properly. We are here to deliver services, particularly when it comes to Region D. I'm not sure who is the director of Region D. But whoever is tasked with the responsibility of leading this forum, please communicate with all political parties about all the activities that will be taking place in this forum. Let it be more.
Councillor Baloy.